So, can you help me understand something here? Why is the government reaching out to housing associations and doing a data thing on finding out how mouldy houses are? They're reaching out to housing associations, but they're not reaching out to tenants.
Yeah.
Isn't it tenants that would know whether their house was mouldy or not, and what type of help that they've had, if any? So why is the government reaching out to housing associations and councils and private landlords for an accurate data collecting on how mouldy our houses are? Because there's only so far, compared to the housing associations, there's 2.3%. I think the number is bigger if you actually reached out to every person on the planet like you do a consensus. And let's have a consensus where you go out into individual houses and you go and look for yourselves inside people's houses. And I think that 2.3% would be an awful lot more, a higher number. Because how many people are suffering in silence and don't know their building is mouldy? Or what to do when it gets mouldy? How many people are suffering in silence in that?
Many. They don't know.
And they don't know. They haven't got a clue. But let's go and ask the liars. Let's go and ask the housing associations how much mould that they've got and what they're doing to rectify it. No, I think you should ask the people. They're the ones going through it, not the ones at the housing association who have a tendency to lie about it and cover up all of this stuff to make it out that the problem isn't that bad.
Yeah, and it's the tenants according to them.
Yeah, it's always the tenant's problem, isn't it? It's the tenants that do it, right? It's the tenants the ones that are at fault. Yeah, that is true. That is what they say most of the time.
Yeah, that's what we got last time in the last property. The guide for tenants not to have moldy house, that they have to watch their stuff, not to get moldy.
Well, if we just look at what the last landlord was giving out, wasn't it? That any time that there's mould in a house, it's very rarely the landlord's fault.
Yeah.
It's the tenant's problem. It's always the tenant's problem. This is all being dished out to people. So if the government wants a true, accurate number of how many people are living in mouldy houses, can I ask you a question? Why are you asking housing associations? Why are you not going out and doing a consensus and asking the people that live inside houses? I mean, it's the weirdest thing ever, isn't it? To ask housing associations or private landlords what they're doing about mould and how many mouldy houses do they have. And then they can say, oh, but they didn't know. That's rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
They could just put form on government webpage and let people fill it in.
I think they should send it directly to all people in the houses like you do when you want to get votes. You know, when they want to do an election and stuff like that, they send all of that paperwork to everyone's houses. So why don't you ask everybody in the UK and gets pushed through their door, a consensus, if you like, are you experiencing any mould around the windows? And then this empowers people to know what to look for. And if the answer is yes, then doesn't this give you an even better statistic? An even better accurate number? And also, could you supply any evidence to us? Could you email evidence of what you found in your house? This empowers people to know what to look for. And then we might start getting real numbers rather than numbers from a housing association that like to brush this stuff under a carpet at the best of times anyway. Because it's all about the mahani, right? We live in a God world, do we?
Yeah.
Where we're all equal, no matter what, right? Really? If we were all equal, I don't think God would want people to be controlled in this manner.
Yeah. Live in mouldy place and be unable to sort it.
Exactly. And therefore, this whole thing where they go and ask the housing associations is a complete waste of time, waste of money, because you're not going to get an accurate, response. You're going to brush it under a carpet like they do. You're giving people excuse or reason to lie. That's what it is. That's what it is. And therefore, I asked the question, how do people who are living in houses know what to look for? And if they find mould around the windows, what do? Well, they're going to go and try and clean it themselves, aren't they?
Yeah, because they don't know even what that is. It's dirt according to them, probably.
Yeah. So they don't know what they're doing, do they? They don't know what to look for. No one knows what to look for. And then when they do find it, who do they reach out to? Because you know what? You must tell your landlord. It must be there. Oh, we're just going to put it in the terms and conditions. No. This needs an outside independent look. And if it was a true science gathering to find out how big this problem is, but it's only around 2.3% anyway, I think that number is rubbish. I think that's not true. I want to know how many people then on that have not reported it to their housing association, or have reported it to their housing association but have been told the blank statement of it's your fault.
Yeah.
And therefore they don't say anything, and therefore then the housing associations are like, well, that person never said anything. It's all about time limit. So yeah, council, we'll see about this one then, shall we? Because I think that number is not accurate. And they all seem to be in cahoots with each other. The council seems to know what the Saffron have said, and Saffron seem to know what the council have said. So there's an awful lot. That's very deceptive to me. They seem to be letting bits go here and there that they know information. Too quickly to have just passed this on in a phone call conversation, really. And then what is the point in housing standards? What is their purpose? What is the purpose in filling out or writing out the Tenants and Housing Act? What is the point in having health and safety then? We've got more health and safety in businesses, but if we look at it, you'll get a chance to clean it up.
Yeah.
Yeah? Weird, really. Anyway, so that's my question for today, is how truthful is that, and how much can the people rely on those statistics that have been pulled when you haven't asked the people? You've asked the individuals who usually lie.